Emerging from the foggy, exhausting streets of Washington, D.C., after enduring countless press conferences, intense political debates, and an unrelenting flow of information, young Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt finally boarded a flight meant to take her home. As she waited at the terminal gate, her mind replayed the day's hectic events, and though weariness was etched on her face, a glimmer of hope and curiosity burned within her. She had always believed that even a small act of kindness could open the door to monumental changes. Little did she know that on this day, that belief would soon be put to the ultimate test. Stepping onto the plane, Karoline was immediately enveloped by the comforting aroma of freshly brewed coffee mixed with a hint of metallic air inside the cabin. As she settled into her first-class seat, she took a moment to observe her surroundings. Soft beams of light streamed through the window, bathing every corner of the aircraft in a warm, golden glow. Even though the flight began peacefully, an inner premonition stirred within her, as if everything had been carefully orchestrated and pre-written. Yet, this was only the beginning of a series of events that would soon change her life forever. Journey into the depths of mystery as the plane advanced. While passengers were lost in their own worlds, Karoline's attention was drawn to an elderly man moving slowly and deliberately down the aisle. Dressed in a worn jacket and donning a battered cap with World War II veteran emblazoned on it, Joseph Monroe carried the unmistakable marks of a life filled with hardship and mystery. Moved by compassion, Karoline decided to offer him her first-class seat, a small sacrifice that carried far more significance than it appeared. In that moment, the question, "Have you ever thought that a small act of kindness might have enormous consequences?" resonated within her heart, prompting her to rise and exchange seats with Monroe. Monroe responded with a look that blended surprise with gratitude. The deep lines etched on his face spoke of the scars of time and the bitter memories of war, yet a faint smile graced his lips. "Allow me, my hero," he almost whispered, but Karoline was resolute. "I have witnessed every sacrifice you've made for this country. Please, let this seat be mine." In that instant, a silence fell over the cabin. While other passengers were absorbed in their phones or checking emails, this simple yet meaningful gesture began to subtly alter the atmosphere aboard the flight. During the first few moments of the journey, amid the soft hum of the engines and the indistinct murmurs within the cabin, Karoline found herself seated beside Monroe. Their eyes met, and in his gaze, she saw the profound wisdom of a painful past, a glimpse of battles fought long ago that sent a shiver down her spine. However, the peaceful interlude was soon shattered. An unexpected stillness took over, and as hushed whispers began to grow, the flight crew exchanged uneasy glances. What initially seemed like a minor technical hiccup quickly escalated, and tension crept into the air. Before long, uniformed representatives of the FAA started moving toward the front of the cabin. Their stern faces and official demeanor gave rise to unsettling questions in Karoline's mind. Why would such a routine flight suddenly demand such formal intervention? She wondered. The serious expressions on the agents' faces hinted at a danger far beyond a mere check. Monroe, with a slight smile, locked eyes with Karoline as if silently conveying, "There are secrets in these documents, in the hidden operations of the past. Only a few ever speak of them." In the following minutes, murmurs among the passengers grew louder. What had begun as an innocuous flight soon turned into a stage for mysterious documents, contentious flash drives, and cryptic voices echoing through the cabin. Amid this unfolding drama, Karoline's inner voice urged her, "Question, feel, and act." She sensed that the situation was no accident, but a prearranged part of a larger, sinister design. The moment spent beside Monroe felt like the opening of a portal to another world. The elderly man's trembling hands brushing against the edge of his seat evoked the heavy burdens of a bygone era. Sometimes, even the smallest sacrifice can alter one's destiny, Monroe murmured, his voice barely audible. At that very moment, another passenger, a man with a furrowed brow and a serious expression, turned to Karoline and remarked, "Do you know this man?" Joseph Monroe. His words offered a glimpse into Monroe's enigmatic past, hinting at untold stories of his post-war life. Not much is known about what he did after the war, he added, deepening the mystery that now gripped Karoline as she tried to decipher the hidden meanings behind those words. Meanwhile, a slight turbulence began to disturb the cabin. Initially dismissed as a technical glitch, the jolts soon escalated, transforming into an atmosphere laden with tension. The captain's announcement, "We are experiencing an unexpected systems check. Please remain seated," only served to amplify the underlying anxiety. Faces around her shifted from calm to bewildered, and it was in that moment that Karoline became acutely aware of the secret documents and flash drive in her possession. Behind Monroe's gentle act lay the weight of long-buried secrets that now permeated every moment of the flight. One of the FAA agents approached Karoline with a grave expression, stating, "We have received information that classified documents are on board this aircraft. You might need to be aware of these." Her heart pounded as she realized that what had started as a routine flight had now spiraled into an intrigue that could upend her entire life. As Monroe's eyes locked onto hers, he repeated softly, "Sometimes, uncovering the truth requires the most unexpected sacrifices." As the chaos inside the aircraft intensified, with official documents and hidden dossiers mingling with the agent's stern interventions, the cabin transformed into a scene straight out of a thriller. On one side, the dangerous implications of secret files loomed. On the other, the battle of personal sacrifice and human decency unfolded. Karoline found herself no longer just a passenger, but an active participant in a dangerous game. Every step she took was accompanied by an inner cry, "Reveal the truth, do not fear." The atmosphere in the cabin grew increasingly charged. Moments of silence were interspersed with the crackle of the intercom, intermittent announcements, and hurried movements by the FAA agents. Monroe, reaching into his bag, produced a sealed envelope marked with an official stamp, a document that hinted at a future shrouded in uncertainty and peril. "This document may well be the key to changing our lives," he whispered, lowering his voice even further. "Hiding the truth is the greatest betrayal." Karoline's thoughts swirled as she grappled with the enormity of what was unfolding before her eyes. Amidst the mounting chaos, the rising murmur of whispers, and the palpable dread in the eyes of fellow passengers, some clinging to their seats in panic, others fixated on their cell phones, trying to capture the unfolding drama, Karoline realized that this was no mere coincidence. Perhaps, she thought, this is a preordained part of a much larger plan. Her inner voice urged her relentlessly. Question, feel, act. Monroe's quiet presence beside her, coupled with the tantalizing hints of his mysterious past, compelled Karoline to listen more intently. The elderly man's words, "Sometimes the smallest act of kindness holds the power to change the world," echoed in her mind as the turbulence worsened. The official announcements, now reduced to fragmented messages, merged with the agents and the captain's troubled communications, leaving everyone on edge. As the situation deteriorated, Karoline felt the weight of the classified files and the flash drive intensify, a burden that might reveal long-hidden truths. Suddenly, the cabin lights flickered and the sound of the engines shifted in a strange, discordant rhythm. The captain's voice re-emerged over the intercom. "All passengers, please fasten your seatbelts. We are experiencing unexpected turbulence." Yet, this was no ordinary bout of turbulence. It was as if an unseen force was seizing control. With the FAA agents rapidly moving toward the cockpit and Monroe's solemn gaze fixed on Karoline, the realization hit her. This is not just a malfunction. It is a deliberate act of subterfuge. Clutching the flash drive and sealed envelope tightly, Karoline sensed that every jolt, every shifting beam of light, and every anxious glance was part of a larger, dangerous design. The moment she dared to ask herself, which choice will truly set us free? Fear or the courage to seek the truth? Her inner resolve solidified. She knew that her actions in the coming minutes would not only determine her fate, but might also expose a conspiracy far greater than anyone had imagined. As the cabin descended further into chaos, the agents' voices and the captain's conflicted announcements painted a picture of a struggle for control, a battle between those who wished to bury the truth and those who were determined to bring it to light. Amid the clamor, Monroe's parting words, "Sometimes, even the smallest sacrifice wields the power to change the world," resonated deeply within Karoline. With the document and flash drive in hand, she understood that this might be the sole evidence of a hidden history, one that could alter destinies. In the final moments before the plane was about to land, when the situation reached its zenith and official authority seemed to crumble under the weight of secrecy, Karoline found herself transformed. No longer was she merely a passenger. She had become a witness, and perhaps a catalyst, to events that could reshape the course of history. Every trembling heartbeat, every jolt of the aircraft, and every piercing gaze from her fellow travelers underscored one single question: how brave must we be to uncover the truth? As the aircraft's final descent began, the dramatic interplay of clashing forces, the agents, the controlling powers, and the lingering shadows of the past, left an indelible mark on Karoline's soul. In that critical moment, as the truth dangled tantalizingly in the balance, she embraced the realization that sometimes the smallest step can ignite a transformation that reverberates across the world. And now, dear reader, have you ever considered how a single act of kindness might unleash such seismic consequences? In that turbulent moment, as Karoline grappled with the choice between fear and the courage to reveal what lay hidden, her journey became a testament to the power of truth and sacrifice. Reflect, discuss, and share, because sometimes the tiniest act can pave the way for a revolution in our lives. This extended narrative tells the story of Karoline Leavitt, a determined press secretary escaping the relentless chaos of Washington, D.C., whose simple act of kindness on a flight sets off a chain of events involving hidden documents, mysterious agents, and a perilous struggle for the truth. As the tension mounts and the fate of those on board hangs in the balance, Karoline is forced to confront her deepest fears and embrace the courage required to expose secrets that could alter the course of history. Have you ever wondered if a single decision could change everything? Would you dare to seek the truth when it calls? Think, reflect, and share, because sometimes the smallest act can indeed have the power to transform the world.